You hear that?
What?
It's quiet. There's no coughing.
Oh,
What'd you give her?
something new.
Really? Where'd you get it?
Payless Drugs. The pharmacist recommended it.
Well, that's what I call a good pharmacist. Maybe now she'll get some sleep.
Lucky her.
What do you mean?
Honey.
Oh.
Good night.
Good night.
Payless, the drugstore worth talking about.
Imagine you have to fly between Portland and Seattle. And imagine this is a big jet with room for a cajillion passengers. Now imagine this is a Horizon Air Dash 8 with room for 37 and in-flight service. Let's see what happens. Okay. Just a wild hunch here, but it occurs to me that the Horizon Dash 8 gets you in and out faster and easier than a big bus. Did I say bus? I meant big jet. What was I thinking?
NBA report continues. A couple of scores. Golden State won on the road tonight, 114-101 over New Jersey. After one, the Chicago Bulls leading the Phoenix Suns by 8 after one period. Well, we're going to put Steve to work again. Earlier today, he got a hold of the Blazers' best six-man in a long time. That is Cliff Robinson. Will he become the best six-man in the league? What about Cliff's game? He's had an outstanding start. Let's find out more about Uncle Cliffy.
Said, you know, Steve, it's hard for me to figure out what the best part of my game is because I got it all. Have you figured it out now?
Yeah, I am. I'm still figuring out. You know, I think I understand my role with the team a little bit better. I think I'm, you know, I'm a little more comfortable now. You know, I'm getting minutes. I know I'm going to play. You know, I know I'm going to be put in a position where I'm going to have the ball in my hands and I'm going to be able to do some things. So I think it's just a matter of me being more comfortable now and not trying to get in and rush myself to score or to have to do something right away.
What helped you reach this understanding? Was it actual play, or was it going back and watching yourself play, or hearing comments? What?
A little bit of everything. You know, hearing comments, you know, watching tapes of myself play, you know, having conversations with Rick and my other teammates. It was a total, you know, all-around thing. It had a little bit of everything had to do with it.
You know, the loss to Chicago certainly had to hurt. And after that, you seemed to rededicate yourself to something, getting better. Over the summer, what did you do to work on your game, and what did you do to get yourself emotionally ready for this season?
Well, I just, and I knew I played well during the stretches in the playoffs. I knew I had some good moments out there, and I just, you know, thought back on those moments and, you know, looked at tape and, you know, shot a lot of free throws and just basically tried to keep a good attitude about the whole situation, because you know, there was times last year during the playoffs where I wanted to play more, but you know, I didn't. You know, I got some time, I got some good opportunities to play, but you know, when you're feeling good and you want to be out there, you know, I think I let myself get a little frustrated about that. But you know, over the summer, I just thought about the good things that I did, and you know, I just, you know, came back, you know, ready to play.
More than any other player on this team, you're probably the most emotional and the guy that shows his emotions the most. Have you found a way to make that work better for you this year?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to just, you know, just show my emotion towards the basket. You know, just towards, you know, the plays, not towards the referees. Just, you know, towards my play, make myself, you know, play harder. You know, I think I geared a little too much energy at times towards the referees, and you know, that might have, you know, got me in trouble at times. So, you know, I just, you know, try to keep the emotion, you know, towards the basketball, you know, towards the competition and not the officials.
It's early. Do you sense that the officials see Clifford Robinson as a different guy this year, a different player?
Yeah, some I think have, but, you know, it's going to take them a little time to get used to that different Cliff instead of the one who's, you know, showing his emotions towards them. I think, you know, once they do get used to that, it will help me get some more calls.
The team is much improved, and it seems like now Cliff Robinson has perhaps as much to do with the team's success as any of the starters. Do you feel good about being in that position?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely feel good, you know, knowing that, you know, I'm going to play. They need me to play well. You know, we have so many different guys that we can go to, and you know, for me to come off the bench and have a lot to do with what's going on out there, it makes me feel good.
All right, now I got to ask you this question because I got to know, is there any one thing that you eat on game day that you yourself cook that says, you know, this is my game meal, this gets me ready, I'm going to be right for tonight?
No, I don't actually, because most of the time when I cook, it takes me a little while to eat it. You know, I can't. You know, I have to. When on game day, I have to eat. It's got to be there. I got to eat it and just go about my, you know, my rest or whatever. But you know, because when I cook something, I got to look at it for a little while after it's done. I just can't jump into it. I got to, you know, just enjoy the way it looks for a little while.
Of your telephone. Imagine personal communication no longer tied to a home, an office, even a car. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. Imagine what that freedom can mean to you, to all of us. To reserve your number, call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
Nobody in America's ever disliked Saturdays. A day to fool around, even if that means pounding the dents out of an old fender. But sometimes you still need to get your money. That's why Bank of America is now open 9 to 1 on Saturdays. Because you should be able to do anything you want on Saturdays. Even go to the bank. Banking on America. Bank of America.
Horsepower V6. Handling responsive to your touch. The 1993 Toyota Camry.
Taking the long way again?
I'll be home soon. Traffic's light. Few cars actually move you. This is one.
There's just one, and there's no mistaking it, one.
Why don't you and me do some fancy stepping tonight?
Oh, with that cool style of it, ooh, with that smile, yeah, one.
She's a beautiful dancer. Why, I used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Can you do this one?
Ooh, there's just one.
You're not so bad yourself.
1 calorie jam.
Some for you,
Thanks.
some for me.
Diet Coke.
NBA report continues this Sunday night. Both Detroit and Portland out on the floor for their pregame warm-up. They are going to get it on. Just a few games in the NBA tonight, and we'll check the scoreboard a little later on. Well, what about the Detroit Pistons? How have they been playing? Mike Rice sat down with assistant Trailblazer coach John Wetzel, and they're going to give you some of the ins and the outs, possibilities of tonight's ball game.
Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm Mike Rice. John Wetzel, assistant Trailblazer coach, will join me. We're glad that the Sunday is over as far as football goes. Now we can get into NBA basketball.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to be through with all those games this afternoon.
The Detroit Pistons will be the opponent tonight. Detroit, is there any feelings about the Pistons? Remember when they, of course you remember, the Trailblazers had those great series with the Pistons in the championship round. Do the players remember that, and do they come out more emotional, or is it just another game?
I don't think it really, that was 3 years ago. I don't think that affects us now at all because it's so far removed. I think the players just look at it as another game. Sometimes you get up for 1 or 2 or a few big games a year, but I don't think with the Pistons this year that's the case. This is just another game. You have to come out, perform, concentrate on your job for the 48 minutes, and if we do those things, we have an excellent chance to beat these people.
You know, a lot of teams talk about keeping their core players from a championship team and building around it. Looking at the Pistons with Lambier, Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, have they kept their core too long? Is this team getting a little old?
Well, they may be. I don't think they're nearly as effective as they were, say, 3 years ago. Lambier is not playing as many minutes. Isaiah and Dumars are still two of the premier guards in the league, but the rest of the surrounding cast is not as strong. Aguirre is playing more now, and probably not quite as effective as he was 3 to 5 years ago. So I don't think they're as formidable as they have been. They used to have that bad boy or the bully image, and that really is not a factor. They don't play that way anymore, and they've changed the complexion of their team quite a bit in the last 3 years.
All right, let's take a look at the Detroit Pistons and see what makes them tick on offense.
Okay, here's Isaiah has the ball. He's going to have the ball 90% of the time, and Joe Dumars will have it the rest of the time. You're going to see Mark Aguirre, as he does so well, step out off a baseline pick, hold it right there. The pick was here, right in this area, deep. Aguirre came out. Chicago didn't get to him, and this is what he does well.
He can shoot that outside shot.
He can really shoot the ball. He's been such a tremendous shooter over the past several years that any shot that he makes, he steps out and makes a three-point shot. It doesn't surprise you any shot that he makes anymore.
You know, the Blazers, that's one thing in their game. Boy, you seem to have a group of players that really can follow a game plan defensively with Elo and Rod Strickland and Cliff Robinson coming off the bench. Blazers doing a good job defensively.
We have been. Our players really, I think, take pride in defending people. Our identity is our defense and our rebounding, and we talk about that. They identify with that, and when we have a game plan and Rick talks to the players about how we want to cover certain people or a certain team, they listen. They have input. If they want to change something or they feel more comfortable one way or another way, then they have that ability to talk to Rick and to talk to us and say, I'd like to do that. And Rick gives them some leeway and puts the responsibility on those people. So when we do that, they take a lot of pride in their work.
Good. Sounds like a team effort. Let's take a look at, we talked about the guards, how the Pistons use their guards a lot. Isaiah.
Yeah, you're going to see this a lot. High pick and roll. Isaiah, here's a pick by, I think this is Woolridge. Isaiah, we've seen this many, many times where he comes off and tries to just look at the floor and create and see what happens. This is a play they made a living with Lambier setting that pick. Okay, don't get it, and there he is. What great quickness. He still is amazing in these players as long as they've been around. He's been in the league 10, 11 years, and he still has the quickness he had when he was a rookie.
Yeah, it seems that they almost depend on the guards a little too much now, because when Isaiah's not shooting,
Yeah, they do. I think they're a guard-oriented offense right now with those two in particular, and they depend on those two guys to score a lot of points, and they feel that for them to win, they have to have big games out of both of them.
All right, let's take a look at the other one we're talking about, Dumars, the great all-star guard.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's really an underrated player. Joe Dumars is a great offensive player. He's a great ball handler. And the thing that he does so well, which gets no ink, hold it right there. You can see it's the same type play. The pick was here. He came off, and they both are excellent shooters in this area of the floor. You're going to see them shoot shots right there, both of them. And the thing I was going to say about Joe Dumars, he's such a great defensive player. He defends Michael Jordan, he defends Clyde Drexler, and there are a lot of guards that he gives up size to, but he's so physical and so competitive that he does a nice job.
You know, we talked about when we were on last week with the New York Knicks, stepping out and defending these guards off the pick and roll. Will we be stepping out on Dumars when he comes off that pick?
Well, I think we have to be aware, but the thing with the Detroit guards as opposed to the New York guards, the Detroit guards don't try to get to the basket as consistently as the New York guards. So what we need to do when we step out is to get to them, but the defensive guard has to keep coming and play them more for the jump shot rather than the penetration.
Big jump shooting team.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at one of the new guys that have just added a year ago, Woolridge, who's been known as a scorer.
This is an isolation. He's going to catch it right here. Okay, hold it. They like to isolate in this area of the floor. You see they've spaced the floor. They've got people moved away from him. They're trying to let him create and get to the basket, and he is a premier player at putting the ball down on the floor and powering it to the basket.
Let's hold it one more minute. You know, we talk about isolations and everything for our fans, John. In college, they'd be able to send all their defenders over, but in the pros, they have a rule that you have to stay with your man. And this is isolation over here,
yeah,
right?
In college, you'd see two guys here. They actually would be in a zone, but we can't do that. You can't, if there's a midpoint here dividing the lane, approximately there, you can't have any defenders on this side. If one of those defenders comes over here, it's an illegal defense. So that is what we talk about when we say isolation, because when you take everybody away, it gives the offensive player room to maneuver. He's going to go here, give it up to Lambert, who that's the strong part of Lambert's game right there. He's an outside jump shooter, not a power player on the offensive end.
Yeah, he used to be able to rebound real well. Now he's a little slack there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not as active. He's not as, doesn't react quite as well as he did. And he used to out-quick people. He wasn't a big jumper, but a quick jumper, and he beat people to the ball. He's not doing those same things as well as he did in the past.
So when the fans boo him tonight, he won't be able to respond quite as well.
I hope not. He's had some awfully good games here. In the playoffs a couple of years ago, he was awfully good. And really took us out of our game one time.
Yeah, I remember. Let's take a look at the Piston defense. At one time, the big bad bullies from Detroit, Motown, had a great defense. How is it now?
Well, they're a pretty good defensive team. I wouldn't say they're great. They're going to play you straight up most of the time. I don't think we're going to see any trick defenses. Straight man-to-man, probably not a whole lot of switching, probably not a whole lot of anything that's unusual. There you see they double-teamed the pick and roll and left people open. Well, if you run that back, I'll show you something here. What they've done with their big man on the pick and roll, okay, hold it now, run it forward. This is not a real, hold it right there. This is not a real strong double team right here. You'd like to see this defender get out here and prevent this guard from running with the ball. He doesn't do that. He allows BJ to turn the corner. He's real soft here. You see the defender right here, he's soft. And what happens is when he's committed to the ball, now you have two defenders on the ball. Hold it right there. You got two defenders on the ball, and neither of them stopping the penetration. It puts two offensive players for Chicago in a position where it's a 2-on-1 situation, and BJ finds the open man. Go ahead now. Finds the open man. It slid behind the remaining defenders, and they get the ball right at the basket. They did force Chicago to take a shot under duress, but if you give teams a lot of layups consistently, they're going to make a lot of those too.
Well, I think the only thing we haven't talked about, and right at the end, is Dennis Rodman, very quickly, still a force.
He is. I don't think he's in the condition that he has been in past years, but when he is in the game, look for him in the lane, look for him on the offensive board, because a year ago he was the premier rebounder, and when he gets in good shape, he's going to be there again.
The one key that we can look for to help the fans decide if the Blazers are going to win?
I think it's offensive execution. I think it's important for us tonight to come out to set good screens, to free our shooters up, and to hold those picks and then make the defense react, make the defense make decisions. And if we do that, we're going to get good shots.
It'll be shooting percentage. If the Blazers execute, that percentage will be up there. Chalk Talk, Sunday night, John Wetzel. Thank you, John.
Okay, Mike.
That's it.
Well, that's our NBA report for tonight. It's the Detroit Pistons and the undefeated Portland Trailblazers. Can they make it 7-0? Stick around and we'll all find out together. NBA basketball, don't go away. We're going to be right back.
Welcome. People wonder how the incredible universe can sell so many name brands at such incredibly low prices. There's a formula. Multiply all the electronics by the gross national product, compute the number of computers, add the number of CDs, plus the appliances. Calculate the circumference of the planet, divide by pi, factor in the high IQs of all the salespeople, and that's how we get such incredibly low prices. I mean, it's so simple.
If it's not in the universe, it doesn't exist.
It has a 10-cylinder, 400-horsepower engine. and seats up to 7. It hits over 1G on a skid pad and has an available built-in child seat. Its front fenders resist dents and chips. It has 133 sound deadeners, silencers, baffles, and mufflers. And there's room in back for 49 bags of groceries. Caravan, Viper, and Intrepid. The new Dodge.
No one knew where he came from, but they knew what he wanted. Introducing AM/PM's hearty new BBQ rib, flame broiled, smothered in barbecue sauce. It's one mean sandwich. At only 99 cents each, you can pack up a herd of them. No one knew where he came from, but they knew he'd be back.
When choosing a health plan, it's wise to remember you get what you pay for. ODS Health Plan has the best claims payment record in the business. When you run a tight ship, you don't have to nickel and dime your subscribers. We keep our costs low to keep benefits high. In fact, nearly 93 cents of every premium dollar is used to pay claims. Of course, you could find a cheaper health plan, but how much is peace of mind worth?
The following is a Blazer Broadcasting sports presentation.
The Oregon Trail and the Trailblazers, a name carved from its history. The Oregon Trail is a great American adventure. It's the story of 500,000 people who left their homes and traveled west for a new beginning in a new land. It was the greatest migration of people in recorded history. Some wished to escape the economic depression back in the States. Others said they came for patriotic reasons, or just to go where they had never been. But one thing they all had in common: when they hit the trail, it was Oregon or bust.
Ready the wagon! Ready the wagon! Wagons out!
This is Blazer Cable, and these are the cable affiliates that make up the Blazer Cable Network. George Wash is the executive producer and director of Trailblazer Basketball, and J.R. Hellman is the coordinating producer.
We are live this Sunday night at Portland's Memorial Coliseum. NBA basketball, the Portland Trailblazers, who continue to be undefeated against the Detroit Pistons. And speaking of the Detroit Pistons, good evening, everybody, with Steve Jones, Bill Schonley, and Detroit. The bottom has dropped out of this franchise.
Well, it has, in the sense that they're not the team to beat in the Central Division, and Isaiah Thomas is one of the reasons that they're struggling right now. Injured in the Clipper game, he had a calf injury, and he was out earlier today trying to find out whether he can go. He told me that the leg was not 100%, but he felt that they needed some help in the backcourt, and he was just going to come out there to try to give some direction tonight, and we'll find out whether his presence helps them be more competitive.
Well, they certainly need him, and of course they do not have Dennis Rodman, and probably won't have him at all anymore.
Well, we can't say any more until they get a trade. We know that he's suspended without pay, and if Dennis Rodman were to come back and be the Rodman of old, they certainly would accept him. But I think there have been too many problems, too many distractions for him, and I think that Rodman is out, and they're waiting for a team that will make them an offer that will improve them. They're looking for a forward. They're looking for a guard. You know any that they can get?
Not on the Portland Trailblazers anyway. They don't have anybody. They're all spoken for. This should be an interesting affair tonight. Detroit, they come into town, losers of 4 in a row, and hope to get back on winning ways, and that's one reason why Isaiah wants to play.
Well, Isaiah wants to help the team at least remain competitive. He knows that this is a tough road trip for them when they have all of their people and they're playing well. And in this building, they've only won once here in the last 20 years, and that was a year ago. So they know that they've got their work cut out for them, but they have to start somewhere. He's not really worried about starting all over again as we take a look at Mark Aguirre, one of the guys that needs to step up and accept some of the pressure.
And to this point, he has not been able to do that. NBA basketball, one of just a few handful of games being played around the league tonight. We'll check from time to time with the NBA scoreboard. It's time for the pregame ceremonies. Both Portland and Detroit are ready to get it on. Let's now go to public address announcer Mike Stone.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stand and join the Arnold brothers in honoring America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Our national anthem, and now it's time for the introduction of both teams, and once again here's Mike Stone.
The members of the visiting Detroit Pistons. A 6'9" forward from Notre Dame, wearing 0, Orlando Woolridge. A 6'4" guard from Arkansas, number 5, Darrell Walker. A 6'10" forward from Michigan, number 6, Terry Mills. A 6'6" guard forward from Mississippi, number 30, Gerald Glass. A 6'8" forward from Arkansas, number 35, Isaiah Morris. And a 6'9" forward from Kansas, number 50, Mark Rendell. And now the starting 5 for the Detroit Pistons. At one forward, 6'6", out of DePaul, number 24, Mark Aguirre. At the other forward, 7 feet from Virginia, number 34, Olden Polynice. At center, 6'11", from Notre Dame, number 40, Bill Laimbeer. At one guard, out of McNeese State, 6'3", number 4, Joe Dumars. And at guard from Indiana, 6'1", number 11, Isaiah Thomas. The trainer for the Pistons is Tony Harris. The assistant coaches are Don Chaney, Brendan Malone, and Alan Sretnick. And the head coach, Ron Rusting. And now, the Western Conference champion, Portland Trail Blazers. Starting in one forward from Longwood College, Virginia, 6'7", number 25, Jerome Kersey. Starting at the other forward, 6'8", from Maryland, number 52, Buck Williams. The man in the middle at center, 7 foot from Eastern Illinois, 00, the Duck, Kevin Duckworth. At one guard, 6'3", from Wisconsin, Stephen Point, leader of the pack, number 30, Terry Porter. And at guard from Houston, 6'7", number 22, Clyde Drexler. Portland's trainer is Mike Shiminsky. The assistant coaches are Jack Shallow and John Wetzel, and the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Rick Adelman.
BP's research and testing tends to leave an impression on most visitors.
4th floor aviation fuel research. 6th floor marine fuel testing.
And we put this research to use in a very practical place. Your local BP station.
Pizza for Todd King. Top floor.
Top floor space research.
BP, on the move.
Right now, it's dessert time at the Thompsons. For years, pumpkin pie has been their favorite, and this year is no exception. So they're not even thinking how it's made with the pick of the pumpkin patch, how skilled hands made it smooth and creamy, how seasonings blended for the perfect taste. And neither is Mrs. Thompson, because this year she brought home a President's Choice pumpkin pie from Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
For a long time, we owned the road. Toyota cars and trucks have always been that much better. Way out ahead in quality, technology, and value. So while others may seem to be catching up, don't forget, Toyota keeps forging ahead, developing new styles, better quality, and providing the kind of value that promises to keep us ahead. Add to that a group of dealers who keep all that value affordable, and that's why Toyota remains that much better. If you want a better car at a much better price, see your local Toyota dealer.
This might look like a typical light beer, and some typical skiers enjoying a typical day on the slopes. But this is no typical run.
Well, I know you're all bubbling with excitement. Any questions?
And this doesn't taste like a typical light beer, because this is cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft Light. So there's nothing typical about it.
Did you ever try to get something as simple as help on an airline? At Alaska Airlines, you'll find getting help is quite simple. More often than not, you won't even need to ask for it.
We couldn't make the day any longer, or the distance between people any shorter. But at Cellular One, we can give you the freedom to go where you want to go, and never be out of touch with the people who are most important to you. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. To reserve your number, call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
Nobody in America's ever disliked Saturdays. A day to fool around, even if that means pounding the dents out of an old fender. But sometimes you still need to get your money. That's why Bank of America is now open 9 to 1 on Saturdays. Because you should be able to do anything you want on Saturdays. Even go to the bank. Banking on America. Bank of America.
Remember our whatchamacallit?
We're here. This is great. Hi.
I'd like you know who.
I got this one.
With what's her name?
You'll never forget your big moments with the new UC1.
Nice catch, Dan.
It's the smallest, slimmest Canon 8mm camcorder yet.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Purchase any video camcorder and receive a free cellular phone during Camera World's final factory discount sale of the year. Our lowest prices ever, 3 days only.
The best measure of any health plan is the loyalty of its subscribers. At ODS Health Plan, 98% of our subscribers renew with us. Most likely because we treat them the way we'd want to be treated ourselves, with understanding, respect, and the highest level of care at the lowest possible cost. We never forget who we really work for. That's why people are so loyal to us. And the feeling is mutual.
Jack, what do you want from me? You invested the money.
Well, I invested last year, too.
Okay.
Sure, you have problems.
Last year was last year. The rules have changed.
But the people at GTE can evaluate your needs and provide the right communication system and service so your phones won't be one of them.
Jack, I'm the only one left in the office.
Will it change the world?
We're accountants here, Jack, not magicians.
No.
Listen, Jack.
Just your little corner of it.
Let's set up a conference call tomorrow.
And Tracy? No boys.
Yes, Mrs. Swindle.
I like the way you make me laugh. I like the funny things you do. You got a style of your own.
The tickets.
The tickets. The tickets. And Tracy, scrape the cheese off the ceiling.
I like the spiking you.
Halftime score, Blazers up by 13. Portland out on top 56-43. They had a 6-point lead at the end of one. Then Detroit came on, Steve, and got the score to within 2. And then it's Ellie, Strickland, and Kersey, and the rest of that crew, and they got the job done again.
Trailblazers with a 13-point advantage, and what we talked about in terms of keys of the game was the Detroit Pistons being able to control the tempo of the ball game and forcing Portland to become a perimeter team. That was a tough 3-point field goal by Porter under pressure. That's what the Pistons would like to see Portland do a lot more of. And there were periods in the game when they did settle for that quick opportunity shot. When Portland moved the ball, moved people in the direction of the hoop, they got easy opportunities. The defense is late, reacting for the Pistons, and an easy 2 for Buck Williams. The Pistons still have some offensive firepower in the presence of 3 people out there for sure. And when a healthy Isaiah Thomas is around, they rely on Dumars Thomas, Mark Aguirre. Aguirre missed. An active Olin Polynice tipped it in. Rebounding was also part of the key to success for both teams. And rebounding is almost even, and the Pistons have done a good job. The Pistons want to get in isolation as much as they can. They're not going to get much isolation for Thomas due to the calf injury, but Joe Dumars showing that if you give him a sliver of daylight, he will make you pay. The defense of the Pistons is soft, and they allow Portland to move the ball. They don't react to the missed shot. Drexler comes in, and before the defenders can close, he scores on a putback. If you're going to play against the Detroit Pistons, you want to try to pressure the people that are not good passers. Woolridge is not a good passer, and that forces a turnover from him and an easy 2 for Jerome Kersey. And that's part of what Portland's plan appeared to be when they had players down on the post like Mark Aguirre. They tried to attack, make him make a tough pass. A wide open shot for Terry Porter. He knocks it down. But that shot showed you how soft the Pistons defense is. They're not really pressuring the ball. You see Strickland, he'll split the defense right there. And the first rule in transition is to stop the ball. No one does. And Strickland has an easy 2. Between Strickland and Cliff Robinson in that second quarter of play, the Trailblazers' aggressive offensive and defensive attack got going. Strickland falling, but still under control, finds Drexler out in front of the pack for 2. Drexler marveling and saying, you know, how did you even manage to stay upright, let alone get me to basketball? Turnover again
forced by the Trailblazer defense. Good decision. Finds Terry Porter right in the middle for an easy two.
Halftime, 56-43. Blazers leading the Pistons.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Ooh, come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Miller Lite, I like it like that.
When you're calling for great taste and a less filling beer, one beer's made to order. Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
Ooh, I like it like that. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Ooh, come on.
We couldn't make the day any longer or the distance between people any shorter. But at Cellular One, we can give you the freedom to go where you want to go and never be out of touch with the people who are most important to you. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. To reserve your number, call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
BP's research and testing tends to leave an impression on most visitors.
4th floor aviation fuel research. 6th floor marine fuel testing.
And we put this research to use in a very practical place. Your local BP station.
Pizza for Todd King. Top floor.
Top floor space research.
BP, on the move.
There are times in your life when words aren't enough, when they just get in the way. For those special times, come to Fred Meyer Jewelers for gifts that are a joy to give, a joy to receive, no matter the price. A good example is this brilliant diamond bracelet, 50 diamonds set in a classic S shape for just $199. It costs so little, it says so much.
Mario Ellie's early season play has taken him from a relative unknown in Portland to a Rose City crowd favorite. Ellie left Golden State behind by signing with the Blazers, but the decision wasn't an easy one.
You know, it's tough leaving there, but, you know, I'm going from a good team to an even better team, and I was real excited about that. But I guess Don didn't have me in his plan. You know, we were negotiating, you know, during the summertime, and they kept putting it off, so I had a kind of a feeling that I wasn't going to be around, and I was really disappointed they didn't really want me back, because I really enjoyed this city. The guys were great, and the people were fun.
But now he's having fun in Portland. He has an instinctive and complete game that always seems to make the right decision. But it wasn't always that way.
When I first got drafted in '85, and my first practice with the Bucks, you know, I was like, I'm not ready for the NBA. I was just tired. The guys were a lot bigger and quicker than me, and I just didn't have no feel for the game at that point as far as the NBA level. So I thought I'd try to make some quick cash, go overseas, and while I'm doing that, work on my guard game, because I was playing the forward in college, so I was one of the smallest guys in camp. So I had to go overseas, work on my guard game, and, you know, work on my jumper and my dribble and my passing. And then when I thought I was ready, I decided to take the CBA route. You know, it took me a year and a half, and I felt real comfortable with my game.
His game is earning Ellie good minutes in a Portland uniform, and he has fit perfectly into a potent second unit for Portland.
Well, my job as a bench player is just to come off the bench and play hard and give the team a lift. And I think the first 5 games I've been doing a good job. Myself, Mark, Cliff, and Rod. I think we got one of the best benches in the league right now.
Ellie. Gonna drive, takes Sanders to the baseline, scored a goal, and he's fouled. What a quick step by Mario Ellie.
I feel so wonderful. You know, you got a great group of guys. You know, you got the starting 5 from last year's team that was in the championship and a couple of new faces and some great rookies. And I think things are coming together real well for us, and I see a lot of good things happening with our team this year.
The Blazer start has a lot more people than Mario Ellie, echoing that very thought. Blazer Cable will be back with first half stats in a moment.
There's just one, and there's no mistaking it one.
Why don't you and me do some fancy stuffing tonight?
Oh, with that cool style of it, ooh, with that smile, yeah, one.
She's a beautiful dancer. Why, I used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Can you do this one?
You're not so bad yourself.
1 calorie jackpot.
Some for you,
Thanks.
some for me.
Diet Coke.
When choosing a health plan, it's wise to remember you get what you pay for. ODS Health Plan has the best claims payment record in the business. When you run a tight shift, you don't have to nickel and dime your subscribers. We keep our costs low to keep benefits high. In fact, nearly 93 cents of every premium dollar is used to pay claims. Of course, you could find a cheaper health plan, but how much is peace of mind worth?
What's that?
It's a consumer survey. They want to know if you're happy with your car.
Oh, I am.
Oh, I know. And as of last night, so does everybody at the Martins' dinner party.
In its first year, the all-new Toyota Camry moved thousands to appreciate that a car could be everything you want and even more than you imagined.
You gave 2 complete strangers a 20-minute test drive.
15. I was 15.
The 1993 Toyota Camry. Few cars actually move you. This is one.
This may look like a typical light beer, and some typical friends enjoying a typical day in the park. But this is no typical day in the park. And this doesn't taste like a typical light beer, because this is cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft Light. So there's nothing typical about it.
Halftime this Sunday night. Portland leading the Detroit Pistons by a score of 56-43. That's a 13-point spread. I beg your pardon. Jonesy, what's that?
Shanley.
Welcome to the world
Shanley
of TV. From the Dows. You know, speaking of the Dows, we have a lot of folks from all over the state here this Sunday night. We've had several busloads of folks that have come up and said hello. They made the trek over here. You don't get to see the Trailblazers in person too many times, so we welcome all of them.
It's nice to have them here, and I'm sure that they're happy to have you on television.
Well, I'm happy to be here and working with you, I'll tell you that. How about Rod Strickland, huh? 7 assists, that's terrific.
Take a look at the Cellular One fast stats and the leading scorer, Joe Dumars. And Dumars shows that he still has it. Evidence of that draining three-pointer at the end. He leads them. Terry Mills came off the bench, gave them a nice shot in the arm. For Portland, it is balance, and Drexler got hot in the second, ended up with 9 for a total of 13. Porter, a solid second quarter as well. Cliff Robinson with 8. Porter had 9, so they have 3 players in double figures. Olin Polynice, the leading rebounder for the Detroit Pistons. That's one of the reasons that they got him. They want him to be in there banging the boards. Drexler, 6, and you look down here at the bottom, Rod Strickland. Strickland has given the Trailblazers a tremendous bonus just by going back to the defensive glass and occasionally digging out an offensive hoop. You would think that the Pistons were struggling, but they're not. Both teams shooting 50%. Free throwing, the Trailblazers better there. Fast break points, a huge advantage as well as in second chance, and points off of turnovers. So where is the game for Portland? In the aggressiveness, and they've got to continue that.
Oh, man. Look at that, Steve-O.
What do you make of that, Bill?
I don't know. That's a footsie picture, I guess. That's Buck Williams, right? Here's some other scores now. Chris Mullen back into the fold. 34 points for Chris as Golden State wins over New Jersey. 114-101. Not too many games being played around the league tonight.
About wearing shoes?
Behind me is an ultra-sophisticated piece of equipment from Horizon Air. If the other airlines were to find out about this, well, I don't have to tell you.
We call it a cart. You put your bag on it just before you board your Horizon Air flight, and then somehow, magically, it's waiting for you on a cart when you get off. It's like checked baggage without having to check it.
Do you know how much time you save? I do.
30 pairs of Blazers game tickets, 15 Trailblazers jackets, and 5 Blazers autographed leather basketballs. 50 fantastic prizes. And you could win one of them in this year's Franz Bread Trailblazer Sweepstakes. To enter, look for entry blanks and contest information on loaves of Franz Premium White Bread. It's your big chance to win Blazers tickets, jackets, or an autographed Blazers basketball. Enter the Franz Bread Trailblazer Sweepstakes today.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me.
It's a universal truth. Miller Lite's brewed from the start to be the one great-tasting beer that's less filling. It's everything you want a beer to be.
Another unexplained crop formation has been sighted. Looks like there's intelligent life out there after all.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence. The experience to get the job done right and a reputation for quality.
Red 98! Red 98!
Having what you need on hand, putting the parts together for the best possible performance. Being in the pros takes a special brand of confidence, and for professionally trained technicians, that confidence is CarQuest. CarQuest, welcome to the pros.
You're out in the West today, there's probably 75,000 golden eagles. In addition, there's numerous hawks, osprey, owls, falcons. And so my job is to make sure that these birds can nest and perch in safety on our facilities. I can't say enough about our own personnel that's going out there, building these platforms, modifying these pools to make them safer for birds. You know, the best thing about this work is that you can see the results right away. All you got to do is look up.
If you love the taste and smell of fresh ground coffee, the wholesome natural goodness of fresh squeezed juice, if you love rich hearty sauces, then you should know Braun housewares are on sale at Fred Meyer. You can bring home the continental flavor of an espresso master for just $89.99. The Braun hand blender with chopper is just $29.99. And when you buy the 10-cup Braun coffee maker, also $29.99, you'll get a free stainless steel filter. Only during the Braun sale. You'll find it at Fred Meyer.
This is the Temple of Flight, home of the sky and mighty. Come, witness aerialism.
I jam, therefore I am.
So endeth the lesson.
So, how's the sandwich, Chef?
Oh, very funny.
Come on, we both agreed brown bagging was a good way to save money.
Fine. What are you doing to save money?
I go to Payless Drugs.
Shopping.
For Payless private label products. Same ingredients as the name brands, but a lot less expensive. They make everything, even antacids.
What are these for?
Oh, I think you'll need them if you're going to eat that sandwich.
Oh, this isn't my lunch. It's yours.
Payless, the drugstore worth talking about.
For years, the Toyota truck has stood alone. No longer. Introducing the Toyota T100. Built from the same tough stuff as our compact, only bigger, with more room for 3 inside, and an 8-foot bed, with 4 feet between the wheel wells. Now, when it comes to Toyota trucks, the difference is even bigger.
A terrific win tonight by the Portland Trailblazers. They are still the only undefeated team in the National Basketball Association, and they win it over Detroit by a final score of 115-90. A terrific job, Steve, especially defensively.
No, they did what they had to do. From the second quarter on, they began to get aggressive at the defensive end. They forced their turnovers. They pushed the break, and they really made it very difficult for the Detroit Pistons to get anything done. With the exception of Joe Dumars, their offensive execution for everyone else broke down, and Portland was really able to control the basketball game, and they have to feel good about it. That meant everybody was going to get a chance to play, and at 6:01, Rick Adelman tossed in his victory cigar. Dave Johnson and Reggie Smith both come in the ball game, and they were able to get in the scoring column. So Portland wins, and they have to feel good about a sustained effort from everyone, really led by Rod Strickland. Strickland was tremendous tonight in rebounding the ball and finding the open man, and then it was a track meet from that point on.
Let's take a look at some highlights of tonight's ball game, Steve.
The Detroit Pistons are a team in transition. A guy that would like to have more chances in isolation is Orlando Woolridge. The strength of Woolridge's game throughout his career has always been taking the ball to the basket. He was not that successful tonight. The guy that was the most successful was Joe Dumars, and they set Dumars up time and time again in the second half, running him off screen. Those are the old plays that the Pistons used to wear people out with, but with Isaiah Thomas not able to give his half of it, it was very difficult for Dumars to carry the load, and he faced a team with a lot of different weapons. Cliff Robinson with a little easy inside opportunity. Dumars and the Trailblazers rebounded much better in the second half of play. On most of the misses, they were able to get out and challenge in the passing lane. You see Robinson stretch out for two more. That looks like an Olympic finish by Cliff. The Rod Strickland highlights show, but his ability to find people open and deliver the ball where they can do something is remarkable. Drexler with an easy two after an off-balance effort by Strickland to get him the ball. Difference in the game, Strickland's ability to rebound the long misses and out of it, push the ball and make something happen. On the other side, Tracy Murray, who was having trouble getting started, that was his first two. Once he broke the ice, Murray's offensive game opened up. The Pistons, again from the outside. And that's what Portland wanted to do, make them more of a perimeter team, shoot deeper out on the floor. Whenever they had a chance, push the ball ahead. Another Strickland assist to Tracy Murray. It seemed like the entire third and fourth quarters, the Trailblazers were out in transition, able to attack a 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Strickland drawing the foul against the defenseless Bill Laimbeer. He had no help from his friends, ended up fouling out of the ball game to the fans' delight here at the Coliseum. Whenever you're a perimeter team, the first shot that breaks down is that jump shot, and Strickland made them pay. In that second half and in the fourth quarter in particular, almost every time they missed, Rod Strickland was the guy that was on the glass and there for the finish, another finishing effort after a nice return pass from Mario Elie. This appears to be the year in which this may legitimately be a track meet for the Trailblazers from start to finish. They have all kinds of weapons, and they've been able to see at least part of them take place in every game. Tracy Murray gets double figures, his second three-point field goal in that period of play. Portland puts away the Detroit Pistons. They will see Detroit again, and certainly we will see a different Detroit Piston team. There are some trades to be made. We look ahead at the Trailblazers schedule: San Antonio, Phoenix, and then the Los Angeles Lakers. And Portland certainly wants to continue their winning ways. Bill Schonley's at center court with Rick Allen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our post-game show on both radio and on cable. Would you welcome our guest, head coach Rick Adelman, right here. Rick, it's a milestone in your career. 200 wins, let alone the victory tonight by your team, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But as a head coach in the NBA, you obtained 200 wins quicker than anybody else in the history of this league, and that's terrific.
Thank you, Bill. Well, you know, it may be no cliche, but it's the truth. When you have a group of people like I have, they're the ones who got the wins for me. This has just been a tremendous group, and I don't think people really understand how good they've been over the last 3+ years, and that record is just an indication of how well they've played.
And they played another fine game tonight. Now, I know you're going to minimize in a way those 200 wins by you, but your team did it, but in fine fashion tonight, and you're off to a still the only undefeated team in the league at 7-0.
Well, thank you. I think what you saw tonight is you really saw tonight a group of guys. We talked about Detroit coming out with a veteran crew, with Isaiah playing, that they were going to be ready to play, and our guys were just terrific. Defensively, we set the tone the first quarter. We never let up. They were ready to play tonight. This is a big week for us, and we want to continue making this statement, and this was one tonight. Now we got another one on Tuesday.
Talk about Rod Strickland, if you will. He had a triple-double tonight, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists. Rod Strickland was terrific.
Oh, he was great. He got the ball in the open court. He found people. I asked him about his rebound, and he said his goal is to catch some of the big guys. So he is just such a good all-around player, and when we get the ball in his hands in the open court, I think you're going to see our players just find out what they have to do to get open, because he'll find you. And he was just one of the many people who had a very good night tonight.
You were so active as a team. 17 steals. You had 33 points after turnovers tonight. You were just swarming all over the Pistons.
Well, Sean, that's just a level of concentration and intensity. And when you're that way defensively as a team, you're going to have things like that happen. And we were just very good. And what I liked about it, the starters were good. Everybody who came off the bench was good. And even the guys in the fourth quarter, the young guys who haven't had a chance to play, they jumped right into it too. So when you have that, it's contagious. And I don't think enough people talk about that. That's the mark of this team. It's not the open court fast break. It's defense and rebound. That gets you to the open court. And these guys believe that.
But it was so nice that you could play for instance, the last 4 guys on your bench.
Well, I was really happy to be able to do that, because I've been trying to figure a way to get Tracy in the game, and the way the other 9 guys have been playing, and we played some very good teams. It's been difficult to do, but I was going to try to get him in as soon as I could, and fortunately I got Tracy at the start of the fourth quarter, and he was able to play the whole quarter. Then Dave and Reggie got their chance, and they've been waiting for a long time, 6 games in their minds, and it was good to see him get out in the court and let the people see what they can do.
Address yourself to the fact that you are off to a terrific start, 7-0.
Well, I don't think it's any different than last year when we started off. We had a lot of home games, but we didn't play well early, and some good teams came in here and beat us. And one of the things we talked about at the start of training camp is we had a good month of November as far as home games, and we wanted to come out and establish ourselves. We knew we had to play well, and we were playing good teams, and we really set our minds to that. And it's the combination of the veterans realizing and showing people that they're still hungry, in spite of what some of the experts say, and our new people have added new energy to us. So this is just a team that is playing very well. They're very confident, and as you see, they're very unselfish.
And you have some real big games coming up this week. Very active week for your team.
Well, we do. We have 5 games in 8 days. 4 of them are home, and another good team coming in San Antonio with David Robinson. And you just have to take them, even though, again, it's a cliche, one at a time. But I think we're going to be ready to play Tuesday. If someone's going to beat us, especially here, they're going to have to play a very good game.
Again, Rick, congratulations on your 200th win and to your team victory tonight. I'm proud of you, proud of you. Rick Adelman, our guest, will be back right after these messages.
The available anti-lock brakes on the new Geo Prism can help you negotiate driving hazards during hard braking. And every new Prism comes with a driver's side airbag, which we'd also be happy to demonstrate. But you've seen all that before. Besides, why ruin such a beautiful car? Get to know the newest Geo Prism, at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
The Bartusek family, lighting up the season with the help of True Value. And their family is turning to our family for the hardware value of the month. It's the double bonus Master Electrician extension cord, 50 feet for the price of 40, and a handy carry strap, a True Value at just $6.77. For personal service and low prices, bring your family to ours.
You can do it with True Value.
Airport, please. I've got a 9 a.m. flight.
No problem.
Good.
What airline?
Alaska. Alaska.
First time Alaska?
Yes, it is. But airline never take off on time.
First time Alaska.
When Alaska Airlines says a flight will leave at 9 a.m., we do our best to make sure it does.
I tell you, they never leave on time.
So usually the only time you'll have to wait for a plane is when you miss one.
What's the world coming to?
BP's research and testing tends to leave an impression on most visitors.
Fourth floor, aviation fuel research. Sixth floor, marine fuel testing.
And we put this research to use in a very practical place, your local BP station.
Pizza for Todd King. Top floor.
Top floor, space research.
BP, on the move.
You see the reaction of the Blazer dance team. They're telling you not only are they #1, but the team is as well.
Oh, and are they ever, as of the moment. Off to a 7-0 start. Again, a convincing win, and our congratulations to Rick Adelman, his coaching staff, and his team.
Well-deserved win, and another accolade goes in Rick's direction, and he deflected it like you knew that he would, but that's quite an accomplishment. Again, when you think about the company that he's just joined, Cunningham, he's won a championship, Riley's won several, John Kunla, he won a couple at Minnesota, so he's done his job. Let's take a look at the fast stats. Dumars, the leading scorer, the most consistent offensive force for them, led the way. A couple other people in double figures, Mills and Polynice. For the Trailblazers, a balanced attack, and Cliff Robinson led the way for Portland, followed by Drexler and Porter. Tracy Murray got all 13 of his in the final period of play. Leading rebounders, Polynice with 12. And for the Portland Trailblazers, Rod Strickland with 10. So Strickland came up with that triple-double, and out of his rebounds, he really pushed the fast break for Portland. They dominated that area. They dominated second chance and points off the bench, and they went away with a convincing victory. And sure, Rick Adelman is looking for a lot of the very same thing to happen on Tuesday night against San Antonio.
Well, I wonder what they're talking about around the league as this Trailblazer squad is off to a 7-0 start. Obviously, at least I would think, say, gosh, they're a pretty good team.
Oh, they're probably saying it's you on TV. That's what they're talking about, Shanley on TV. Versatility, that's the story. The Trailblazers have plenty of that.
What's on tap, ladies and gentlemen? Well, our next cable game, and is going to come up in a couple of days. The San Antonio Spurs, the Admiral, and the new head coach, Jerry Tarkanian. And Tark the Shark will be here live on Tuesday. It's a 5 o'clock game now. To order pay-per-view, call your cable company. It should be an exciting time. It was an exciting time tonight, too.
It was an interesting ball game, one of contrast, and the Trailblazers had the wherewithal to get it done. They forced the aggressiveness. That's what they had to do, and they pushed the break. That was the difference in the night.
All right, Steve, thank you very kindly. Final score, 115-90. Blazers are 7-0. Wherever you may be, Bill Shanley, good night, everybody.
has been a Blazer Broadcasting sports presentation.
A number of years ago in Spain, there have been many questions raised about that particular series of sightings and information that ended up flowing